This is the story of Rolf Cooney. This is a story of unfortunate events, bad luck, and well, how every Project Zomboid journey ends, death. Before we get started though, if you enjoy this video and would like to see more Project Zomboid videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and without further ado, let's get right into this. Our story starts off just like any other, by looking around the house to see if there's anything of use, and after searching around, I couldn't really find a decent weapon, but as you will see, this is going to be a reoccurring issue. I then peeked outside to have a look around. I drew the attention of a couple zombies, so I ended up having to put them down with my legs. Still with no weapon, I ventured over to the broke down cars to hopefully find one, but the car ended up being locked and we were stuck out in the open. Made my way to the nearest trailer to scavenge up anything I could find. There ended up being a zombie knocking on the back window, which needed to be taken care of. Once they were taken care of, it was time to loot. Finding a bandage, a freaking shotgun with 3 boxes of ammo, and some food, it was time to go back home. Still with no melee weapon, unless you count this useless bread knife I found, which I equipped because I thought it would be better than nothing, but it turns out nothing probably would have been better. Now back at home, it was time to deposit everything we found. But I wasn't just quite done for the day, so I went back out to loot a little more. I went to the next trailer over, figuring one of them would have to have a bat or something, but no, just a sheet for the windows, a couple medical items, adhesive tape, and some food. While looting, I ended up attracting a zombie to the window, so I went out to go try to take care of him, but ended up attracting a couple more. And now with my bread knife broken, I would have to kill all of these zombies with my feet. I ran back into the house to try to lure them in one at a time. After opening up the window for one, you can hear the glass shatter at the other end of the trailer, and that's another zombie breaking in. After those two were now dead, I heard a watch beeping on one of the zombies, so I found that and turned it off. I then opened the door to try to let the other zombies in. Now that there was only 2, I felt a little more confident trying to kill them. And after finally taking them out, I knew stomping their faces in could only last for so long. I found a hand fork on one of the bodies and I took that as my new weapon. I returned home, deposited all the stuff we got, and added the sheet to one of the windows. We're gonna need a couple more. I returned outside to try to find another easy trailer to search. I found one that had only 1 zombie on the outside, so I decided to go take a look at that. After clearing that zombie out, I came on the inside and there was a dead zombie on the floor with some empty bleach bottles, so it seems like this person committed suicide. So I took all their food because they don't really need that anymore. They also had a couple sheets and some medical supplies. And then most importantly, a TV, which I carried all the way back home to get set up in our base. With the TV, we can now watch episodes of Life and Living to gain precious skill points. But the next episode isn't scheduled until 6 p.m, so with the little time we have to spare, I decided to go clear out a nearby horde. Luring them in one by one. Along the way, my weapon broke and it was back to pushing zombies down and stomping them in. I then peeked inside the house and saw a pot of stew on the stove, which I thought would be good for dinner. After eventually getting in, I grabbed the stew and some extra kinds of food and sat down at the TV inside the trailer to enjoy some life and living. There was still more time before I needed to go to sleep, so I ventured out to the nearby trash bins to hopefully find a decent melee weapon. I didn't find a weapon, but I did find a propane torch that could come in handy. But while searching, I attracted a couple more zombies, so I had to stomp their heads in again. After returning home, I cleaned myself off, ate some food, and took a couple of sleeping pills to help me sleep through the events that have occurred so far. After waking up refreshed and ready for the day, I checked outside to see if any zombies wandered over to the house while we were sleeping. Today I wanted to check out the motel I noticed in the day prior, so I ventured over there. And after getting into the main lobby, I found a 4-color big pen, which might be useful to color in our map, and then I pushed the door to see if there was any zombies in the next room over. In that room, there was some sheets to keep covering up the windows, a hot dog, which I went ahead and ate, and a magazine to teach us how to make stick traps. The rest of the motel was pretty uneventful. That is until we arrived at the storage closet and finally found a decent melee weapon along with some much needed tools and crafting materials. But after picking up all that good stuff, I was pretty high on weight, so I quickly returned home to deposit everything and enjoyed some nice life and living to cool down. Now that we had a hunting knife, I finally felt confident in taking on zombies. I knew that there was a horde next to the motel, so I went over there to finally show them who's boss. I found this random building, but to get in I needed a propane torch and a welding mask. The torch I already have, so if we can find a welding mask, we'd be able to get in. After all that bloodshed, I went back home to clean off, have a bite to eat, and a much needed cigarette. Since there was still about an hour left before the next Life and Living episode, I went to clear out the group of zombies that had been forming close to my base. Then it was time to sit back and enjoy some life and living. Tonight's episode would be on farming. There was still a little more time left before nightfall, so I explored around the trailer park just a little bit more. And then went back home to cook up some bacon for dinner. Before going to bed early, because tomorrow was going to be a big day. The next morning I woke up early enough to catch another Life and Living episode. This one was on cooking. And since the day was going to be a big day, I wanted to start off with some pancakes. And before we got started on our mission, I had to have a cigarette. Today I was going to go exploring further than I had before, but along that journey I came across a horde that was a little bigger than I would have liked. In one of the bodies, I did find a fanny pack that had a gun inside. Although it's not a backpack, it'll do for now. I saw a food market with what looked like a decent motorcycle out back, but the bike had a duffel bag, so that would be really nice for some storage. And with the bike being locked with no keys, I decided to look around on some nearby zombies to see if any of them had the keys on them. And our electrical not level 1 yet, we would not be able to hotwire it. After coming up empty-handed, I saw a cabin nearby with a wall around it. Finally thinking my luck might be coming, this could be my future home. A very unfortunate event occurred, and well, let's just watch. I completely missed my knife shot and the zombie bit straight through my thick skin. And just like that, the story of Rolf Cooney was over. Although his story was a short one, most are in the world of Project Zomboid, and I think that's kind of the moral of the story. No matter how long it is, it's the journey along the way that makes it all worth it. If you happen to enjoy this video and would like to see me continue making Project Zomboid videos in the future, consider subscribing to the channel, and while you're down there, leave a like as well. I may not be the most experienced Project Zomboid player, but maybe one day I will be.